Welcome to Season 1, Episode 5 of the Placeholder podcast covering the Hieroglyphics and Hobo Junction rap battle and legendary hip-hop beefs.
I actually watched a documentary recently, and it was talking about Tupac's mom and her time with the Black Panthers. And he was kind of making this or sort of, what's the word for it? Thematic analogy in that so Tupac's mom was a Black Panther, active in community, doing community activism, fighting for Black power and whatnot. But her period in the Black Panthers, that movement all died, got infiltrated by CIA and whatnot. And Tupac, inspired by his mother, kind of took up the same sort of radical activism, but through culture. And the whole documentary, I guess, thesis was sort of that we've moved into a period of permanent culture war with no actual politics on the ground level, the way that there used to be. Everyone's just screaming at each other and trying to moderate culture, while the actual politics goes on unmolested.
Interesting. You know what's weird? Tupac was a dancer.
Yeah.
He started out dancing for Digital Underground.
He was a backup dancer for but yeah, I knew that he was a dancer.
Chance to do the hump. Do me, baby. Do the Humpty Hump. Come on, do the hump. That's Shock G.
What?
Yeah, that's Digital Underground.
The Humpty Hump?
Yeah, that's.
Isn't that I thought the guy's name was Humpty Hump.
No, that's Digital Underground, and it's comprised of Shock G and Humpty. And
Humpty. Oh, that's the name of it.
But those two people are the same person. It's a group comprised of one person.
What? That's cool.
Yeah.
So he it's different. Is it different personas?
Yeah, he put on the Mr. Potato Head disguise glasses with the mustache. He put that on and a funny hat, and he'd be Humpty, and then he'd take that off, and he'd be Shock G, and he'd be the serious rapper.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. That's cool. It's cool because he's super early hip hop. I didn't realize hip hop already had those sort of concepts.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's actually a connection with what we're talking about on the podcast today. It's
I feel like everything we're talking about can really could just be a really long video.
Oh man, rap is just it's all connected. But Shock G was on a track with Dell, and he fucking murked Dell on the song. It's fucking.
Oh yeah. And
this is when Dell was in his prime too, which is fucking crazy. They made a song called "The Food Fight," and it was a rap battle in the disguise of the song as a food fight. Fucking.
I like the idea.
Yeah, it's
Didn't you cool. Tell me Dell used to go on local radio and freestyle for hours at a time?
Yeah, that was the whole Hieroglyphics thing. So back then, freestyle was associated free verse, poetry, right?
Right.
But in Eastside Oakland and the West Coast, freestyle meant coming off the top of the dome, and it was really Hieroglyphics that started it, and Freestyle Fellowship that kind of took that along. But so it was those two people, but Hyro was the one where every single member of that clique could really freestyle.
If you can freestyle for an hour straight, I wouldn't want to battle somebody who can just rap so flawlessly, consistently. It seems like that's a very strong weapon for a rapper. If you can just freestyle, go.
You'd think, right? But I
know a lot of battles, people kind of have filler, and then they have their bars that are kind of written that are there for the extra punch.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can create the whole verse. Well, I don't know where I'm going with this.
Well, I think I know where we're going with this. I think that brings us to the age-old question, right? Freestyles versus written, and I think the battle that I think we're going to talk about here on the podcast is Hieroglyphics crew versus the Hobo Junction, and kind of to bridge the gap and how it connects with Shock G, Dell did a song, or with Digital Underground. Dell did the food fight with Shock G, and he got murdered on that shit. But Dell usually kills whatever track he's on, so that's kind of the shocking thing. Saphir, the other MC in this legendary battle, was actually another backup dancer for Digital Underground.
Oh,
fucking crazy shit, right?
Small world.
Yes, yeah. All right, so
apparently, if you want to make it in the rap business, being a backup dancer for the Digital Underground was the end.
Yeah, I think that's the route, right? Anyways, this Hieroglyphics Hobo Junction battle, I think, is kind of what I want to talk about. And so, the great thing about, I guess, about our friendship is that I'm a hip hop head, and I could put you onto some really weird shit that you've never heard before. This battle came about because Casual from the Hieroglyphics crew, he made an album. It's Fear Itself. In there, he had a song that Saphir from the Hobo Junction featured on. Now, when Saphir was supposed to drop his album, in return, Casual was going to do a guest appearance, but that never happened. Now, Hyro, as mentioned before, would just freestyle hours and take on all comers in the cypher or battle, however you want to do it, and they would just wreck dudes. Legend has it is that Saphir, shortly around the time that the album was being recorded that Casual never appeared on, showed up to the session and got the better of Casual. And Hyro crew just started trolling them or just following around, started fucking them up battle after battle, show after show, show after show. Hieroglyphics would come there and freestyle and just kill Hobo Junction over and over and over again till it got to like a fever pitch, and they decided to have a battle with Sway and Tech on K-Mel, and that's kind of the story of the battle there. But I kind of want to know, what are your thoughts on it, like when you first heard this overall?
I'm a huge fan so far. It's you can definitely see the difference between the two MCs at the beginning. I think it's Casual and Saphir, right?
Yep. Yeah, so what are you hearing though? Because basically it's Hyro's all freestyle and Hobo Junction's all written, and this is the great debate between freestyle raps and written raps. So it kind of
do we know that for sure, that like one side was written, one side was freestyled?
Oh,
or is this I know like the bars, like the Hyro says, always accuses them of written, but
yeah, it is. Yeah, it was confirmed going into the battle. So
okay,
I guess for a little backstory, when this was all building up, they had that challenge battle at K-Mel with Sway and Tech, right?
Right.
So when they get there, Saphir's waiting and Press is there already, and they do like a boxing stare down, like they go face to face, eye to eye, talking shit to each other.
So is this whole track just Fear and Casual?
It's half of Hieroglyphics crew and Hobo Junction, all of Hobo Junction, and they're gonna battle.
Okay.
They have like a stare down, like a weigh-in stare down at a fight, and Casual thinks it's a setup, and yeah, that's kind of where we enter in, and it's a setup, and Saphir knows he's going in with like raps that he spent a month writing, and Hyro's going into it right off the top of the dome. Mm-hmm.
That's actually really interesting, because I still felt like Casual had some better bars, and I felt like Casual really had like a nice flow with the drum beat. He was always hitting with the drums. He was always dropping the line like with the snare, or doing some syncopated stuff with the drum bass. So part of me is he's very cleverly creating the line rhythmically with the drum bass, or with the drum line. So part of me would be I almost feel like his would be more written, in the sense that he's more prepared to I haven't analyzed the line super in depth, who was hitting harder with better rhymes. I've only listened to it once, but it seemed like his flow was not nearly as interesting, not nearly as musical in the line. He was just delivering lines and putting the emphasis on where he thought the punchline was.
I think that's a recurring theme in this battle. Hyro accusing of Hobo Junction writing the rhymes, and second point being is that Saphir doesn't know how to stay on beat. And,
Oh, really?
yeah, and so I think it's.
So I'm not crazy. I know music.
No, you're not, and I think it's how far along are you into the battle? I guess.
I think. I'm sorry, I haven't done my homework all the way through.
Okay, no worries there. You heard Casual. What's your overall thoughts on him and how he approached the battle?
I like it. I like his flow. He has a really solid flow. It was very musical, like.
Okay.
But his beats, I'm like, this is good flow. This is good music.
Casual's verses, the first half of his verses, they always start out super strong, and then he starts to taper a bit and fall off, and that's kind of where you can tell where it's a freestyle.
Well, I've noticed both of them. They definitely have throwaway verses where they just sort of like, they say a word 2 times, 3 times, and like to kind of refine where they want to go with the rhythm.
Yeah, I think so, quite a bit.
Like no one's consistently dropping bars all the way through. I feel like there's throwaway lines here and there on both sides.
Okay, so speaking of throwaway lines, I guess, how do you feel about Saphir and how he came?
I wasn't as big of a fan of his flow. I like his like timbre of his voice, and some of the lines he drops are like like I said, they're harder than what Casual was dropping. They have more oomph at him at the punchline. I don't know. I thought Casual was more impressive. One of the parts I was listening most recently was where does Tajay fall on this? Because I was just kind of impressed that Tajay got called out one verse and was immediately thrown in, which I feel like is sort of either A's that are combined together, like they kind of know the lineup of who's rapping, or B, like this is actually like 100% freestyle because the guy they just called out comes up next and has to like respond. So I thought Tajay's verse, what he delivered, I thought was great.
Yeah, he came in very heated, and I think actually looking at his verse, I think I pulled it up, and I thought it was pretty funny because his whole thing was like just trying to teach Saphir how to rap.
Right.
Yeah, he's like, on beat, it go 1, 2, 3, 4. See how the snare clap, and that's where it's supposed to drop the flow.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. Is like, there's something off about Saphir's flow, and at least in that one verse, he did.
I think though overall though, if you're going to look at if you're looking at better verses like that actually rhyme, Hiero's there, but it's the way you say it, and I think that's where Hobo Junction kind of tips the scales in their favor. There's definitely more quotables from the Hobo Junction Saphir side than the Hiero side.
Right. I think the Saphir side of it it's the better battle rap, right?
But,
like the disses land harder. The lines like are more catchy. They're more contained. They like connect to each other better.
I'm not quite sure if you got towards the end of it, but as the battle progresses, like you could definitely tell that people lose focus, and that's where the drama starts to begin. The battle ends in a fist fight. Someone gets punched, and they clear out the studio, and A+ from Hiero pulls out a gun and shoots at Hobo, and thank God he misses. And either the gun jammed after that, or they only had like X amount of bullets, or whatever, and these guys get away, and like that's kind of the battle. And these people are left to call in to go who won the battle, and it was like the whole world had tuned in to this battle, especially like if you were like in Oakland, right? And so it was like out of hundreds, possibly thousands of votes coming in, it was actually split down the middle. They were doing like paper counts, and it was legit split down the middle, and no one could decide who won the battle. Who do you feel like was winning at the time, or losing, and why?
I mean, how should I judge it? By battle rap standards, by freestyle standards?
I want you to judge it by Daniel standards, so I'm not quite sure if you're looking for
I enjoyed the casual and Deja versus more. I'm going to say Hieroglyphics
Pyro.
by a technicality of I enjoyed music more than battle maps.
I think that Hobo Junction took this like by far.
Yeah?
When I'm listening to it, when I'm looking at the lyrics, I think Hyro won. And so on a technicality, I give it to Hobo.
Explain that again, because you think when you're looking at it, you thought Hyro won.
No, when I'm listening to it, I think that Saphir and Hobo Junction have take this easily. But when I look at the actual lyrics, like on the screen, and you know, I'm like just kind of like listening to them flow when I'm reading the lyrics, I think that Hyro wins. Just because.
Okay, interesting. I feel like I haven't like looked at the lyrics in depth other than what I've listened to, but I feel like I would have the opposite reaction. Like when I listen to it, I enjoy the Hyro parts more, but when I look at the rhymes, and then I actually read the lyrics and listen to them along with the delivery, I feel like reading the lyrics makes me more sympathetic to Hobo Junction.
Yeah, it's hard to determine who's going to be the winner of this then, because still to this day, it's that debate of freestyles versus writtens and the trade-offs that you get from them.
Cool.
Yeah.
This is a really cool rap battle you found. Okay, but I want to introduce another element of the discussion. So we kind of talked about how you can have lines that hit hard because like they have a strong punchline, or like rappers that are very musical. I want to talk about my personal rap beef between Drake and Pusha T.
Oh my god.
This is the most amazing rap beef of all time. I enjoy none of the songs involved in this beef, like music on a musical level. This beef is just so entertaining and so historical because it's a very legitimate beef, and it's like Pusha T hidden below the belt. How important is it to you for like the disses to land home in a rap battle, in your opinion? Or is it more just about the catching of line and like the more
I think
structural comedy sense?
I think it has to hit home. I think like that's kind of what the whole point is, right? It's a battle, you're attacking. I think that's I think that's what I'm looking for.
So I don't know. Should you explain the Drake Pusha T? I feel like you probably still know more about it than I do.
Oh no,
even though I'm.
You go ahead. I've been talking way too much.
Oh, so for people who don't know, the Pusha T. So Pusha T, you probably know more about his background, but he's pretty OG kind of gangster rapish type guy from a generation before Drake. And I forget how their beef started, but I believe something came up that caused beef, and Pusha T released a diss track that was like basically like warning shot, saying like, Drake, you don't want to fight with this. Like, you don't want beef with me. Just back off. You're a bitch. Like, you escalate it with this me, like you're going to regret it. And so, of course, Drake came back with his own diss track, which, in my opinion, is mostly forgettable. Pretty standard diss track there. And then Pusha T said, I warned you, and released a very simple diss track that exposed some pretty serious dirty laundry of Drake. He exposed that he had a son that he was hiding from the world. Exposed that he had like a solid, like a side piece with another chick, and I forget all the things he released. I'd have to look it up. But basically, completely demolished Drake and just attacked them and exposed to the world a lot of hidden secrets Drake had. Musically, not that interesting song, but it's premium, drama content. I don't think anyone's been so devastated by a diss track as that diss track.
It would hit pretty hard. I'm just wondering, in terms of other famous diss tracks, how would you rank it, and what are your favorite diss tracks?
This one I definitely enjoyed the most, just because I was kind of on the train on social media and whatnot, internet, when it was really ramping up, and just how relentless Pusha T is. It's just like, wow, I've never heard this track. So in those terms, this is number one. This is the most personally damaging diss track ever released. The only other ones I can really think of would be like Nas and Jay-Z back in the day. You probably know more about this, but I believe those two had a beef.
Let's actually get into the Jay-Z versus Nas thing. So that started when Jay-Z, he dropped the classic album Blueprint, and he made a song called Takeover, which is just kind of saying that he runs New York. He is now the king. And shots were fired to Nas, to Mobb Deep, to anyone in New York. And he talked about Nas, and talked about how he's like a one-hit wonder, every 10-year average, and basically just said that like he flamed out. Nas came back with Ether, which is now colloquial, right? People use it as an I ethered someone. I've made a diss track so hard that you can't recover from. But how do you feel about that battle, that matchup, diss track for diss track? Who do you think?
It's been a while since I dived into that one. I kind of felt like Ether was sort of overhyped. I didn't think I love all diss tracks. It's my guilty pleasure. But I didn't think it was the diss track.
I thought that I like Takeover better musically, but I know that's a famous sample, and so I might be liking the sample rather than the song.
Right. I definitely felt like Ether was the stronger of the two. But no, it could go either way. I would understand somebody saying that, I'm forgetting what the title was called.
Takeover?
Better. Takeover, yeah. Takeover was more solid.
I don't want to extend this podcast too long, so I do have a few other things I do want to bring up before we sign off. I want to know, diss track for diss track, is that your favorite matchup? Is it Pusha T versus Nas? Pusha T versus Drake?
In the sense of like, when you're watching trash TV about trailer park relationships, yes, that's my favorite.
I am shocked that probably one of the most fun ones did not show up on off the top of your head.
Oh, what is it? What am I forgetting?
Biggie versus Pac. That never came up.
That's true. We did forget about that. I haven't listened to diss tracks in a super long time, but my general opinion is that Biggie's is a much better rapper, but Tupac is more inspiring and like culturally meaningful.
I think that's an overall sense of it. I think people side with Tupac just because he's Tupac, but if you look at the diss tracks, Long Kiss Goodnight versus Hit 'Em Up, Long Kiss Goodnight easily kills Tupac's rap.
Yeah, I'd say in general, Biggie has better songs and has better flow.
Yeah, I think so. All right, let's kind of bring this in here. What are your favorite diss tracks? Give me your top three.
Probably The Story of Addison, or whatever that shitty one is called. Okay. It's just, people go do some background reading on it and watch it. It's a car wreck. It's amazing though.
Yeah. I've brought up several notable battles. The one that I do want to bring up that I think is, in terms of diss tracks, three in particular. In terms of beef, it would be the LL Cool J versus Cannabis matchup.
Oh, what's that?
So Cannabis made the other greatest diss track of all time called Second Round Knockout. And this was in response to LL Cool J changing his verse when they did a song together called 4321. As backstory, let's jump on the song called 4321 for LL Cool J's album. Now, I guess it's kind of like a legendary track because it's Cannabis, Meth Man, Redman, and LL Cool J. At the time, like the hottest rappers in the game. What was seen as disrespectful was Cannabis in his lyrics said, "Let me borrow that mic from your arm," referencing LL Cool J's tattoo. So LL did something that was also considered.
Is that a diss?
LL Cool J took that as a diss. Like, what are you taking? You're not taking anything from me. I'm from New York, right? And so he took that diss, and LL re-recorded his verse and sent out a heater, saying like, "Don't mess with me. Like, I'm like playing. It's like playing basketball with Michael Jordan or challenging Roy Jones to a fight." Like, that was kind of his lyrics that he went with. And so, Cannabis took that and got Mike Tyson to be featured on this track, and basically said that he'd knock LL Cool J out, and made one of the greatest diss tracks of all time, according to the hip hop community. The notable line in that song was 99%. You try to sell your body to hide that you don't have skills. 99% of your fans wear high heels. LL Cool J came back and ruined Cannabis' career with one line. And it's, ask Cannabis because he ain't understanding this. 99% of his fans don't exist. And yeah, ruined his career, and Cannabis' career like fell apart. So it's one of those things where Cannabis had better overall lyrics, but LL Cool J had such a strong rebuttal with that one line, plus like the musicality of the song, that he's seen as the winner. Hit me with your favorite quotable before we sign off.
Adonis is your son. He deserves more than a heated press run. Boom.
Ouch.
That still can't love this beat enough. My favorite beat by far.
Alright, so I don't know how to sign off, but I think that's where we're going to have it. Hopefully in this podcast you come to love and appreciate hip-hop, and let us know your thoughts on the Hiero versus Hobo battle. Freestyles or writtens, and is it better to strike hard and strike first, or to have a perfect rebuttal? Thank you for tuning in, and we'll catch you next week.
Yeah, and Placeholder podcast in Russian. Take it away, Shane.
Good night, comrade.
I was hoping you would testing if you still remembered the name.
Oh, yeah, podcast Zaponil. Podcast Zaponil. Pachikam и Denim. I'm forgetting the rest, but it's getting there.
One day we'll speak one sentence in Russian.
Yeah. Da.
Da.
Спасибо, что вы были сегодня с нами и слушали подкаст «Заполнитель». Мы надеемся, что вам понравилось наше шоу. Следите за нашим следующим выпуском и обязательно ставьте лайки, комментируйте, делитесь и подписывайтесь. До встречи!